Hello there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is gonna be heavy as hell. Okay, let me give you some trigger warnings before I even dive into the title. Trigger warnings for child and domestic abuse, possible grooming. We normally would not read stories like this, but feel that this subject needs to be discussed. People need to be aware, and we know there are people in chat who have lived in situations like this one, and we want your help to bring to light this topic and help the world navigate it. Our eyes have been opened through this channel, which is 100% true. Candy Thunder wrote the intro for me there, and we had this conversation earlier tonight. Our eyes have been opened, and we have learned so much from you all, and from the stories that we read that leaving a situation is not always possible. Leaving is incredibly difficult sometimes, and sometimes things get really bad before anything can be done. This is one of those stories. Title of this story from AITAH is, Am I the astronaut for losing it on my husband for not taking care of our newborn the whole time I was at work? Using a throwaway, don't need anyone in my real life finding out this shit show is my life. I'm 23 female, my husband is 28 male. We've been married for 4 years, together for 5. We met when I was 17 but didn't officially start dating until I was 18. My husband has done a lot for me, paid for entire semesters of college when my parents refused to complete a FAFSA, encouraged me to take out loans when he and we couldn't afford to pay for my tuition entirely, moved me away from abusive/toxic family members, but I'm really struggling with this. I had a baby 9 weeks ago. It was a rough birth. I was laid off from a really awesome job working in an office as a customer service rep due to budget cuts while pregnant. My husband swore he'd take care of us, we'd be able to survive off one income, etc. All that bullshit. I went through what little savings I had with a quickness because even though he talked a big game of taking care of us all, he still insisted that I pay my share of the bills. I'm still in unemployment appeal hell. I was applying to jobs left and right up until I was 38 weeks pregnant and realized no one was going to hire me so close to giving birth. I have a bachelor's degree and literally ended up getting a waitressing job at a Cracker Barrel just so I can have income coming in. My husband works a federal government job and has 12 weeks of paid paternal leave. He promised he'd watch over our girl while I worked to save money on daycare. I've been at this waitressing job for a little over a week. It's tough going from an office setting to being on my feet all day. I'm in a lot of pain, but having some job is better than no job at all, so I just deal. The quality of care that my husband has been giving our daughter is getting worse and worse. I come home to her not being changed, not being fed, or her blowouts are so bad she has shit up her back. I've tried talking nicely. I've tried being reasonable. I even suspected he had male postpartum depression or some shit, and he told me he just couldn't connect with her, and all she does is cry, and it's grating on his nerves. Today was the worst one yet. I came home to my daughter still in her crib, still in the pajamas she was in the night before, after I laid out clothes for her. She was red in the face from crying so much. I started to warm up a bottle and asked my husband, when did he last feed her? His answer was, I don't know, I haven't given her a bottle today. She cries every time I hold her. I just lost my shit on him. All hell flew through me and I couldn't contain my anger. I called him a piece of shit, neglectful father, and asked why the he knocked me up /refuse /make me feel bad for using condoms if he wasn't going to take care of the child he helped create. I'm working 8-hour waitressing shifts, making $3 an hour plus tips, still bleeding, feet constantly hurt, trying to dry up this breast milk, all while putting on a fake-ass smile and trying my damnedest to make money in tips to have enough to bring home and pay for my share of the bills every 2 weeks. I ended up locking baby and myself in the bedroom and told him to just off and leave us alone. Managed to calm my daughter down with a bottle, a bath, and now she's napping, but I'm still angry. My husband told his mom, I guess, and tattled on me. My mother-in-law decided to message me and give me a hard time because he doesn't know what he's doing. This is his first time being a parent. And yeah, I pushed a 7-pound watermelon out of my vag, and I'm still not neglecting my baby. I'm so angry and tired of this. Our daughter deserves better. Hell, I deserve better. I sent him a text that he either needs to shape up or ship the out, and his response was, where are you going to go? And now I'm just beyond angry and frustrated with him and his level of care for the child he helped make. I'm even more angry that he ran to his mommy, who can say something shitty to me but can't come over and help her son if he's feeling overwhelmed. My head is spinning and I just need someone to set me straight. I kept wavering back and forth on if I'm the asshole or not over this. I just want my daughter to have a competent father and not a neglectful one. If I could up and leave him to make him face reality, I would, just to show him I'm not around. There's an edit and there's an update, but how is this humanly possible? How is it possible for a human being, let alone this child's father, to just sit there and do nothing while it shits and pisses and cries and is starving? This requires enough evil inside of a person to let an innocent child literally sit there and suffer in front of them. They have to be unaffected. Is this like an extreme disassociation? Is this a psychological issue, or is he just a piece of shit? I don't care. You know what? I don't care what the issue is. I don't care if there's a clinical issue. You don't let a child sit there and suffer and then make your wife go work a waitressing job and force her to pay her share after saying that's not what you're going to do. This is not a man of his word at all. This is not a man at all. Edits for the guys saying, leave now. I have $6 to my name. If I could leave, I would. I'm going to social services on Monday. The domestic violence hotline was able to connect me with one shelter, and they're trying to find placement for us for the weekend. Stop messaging me that I should have aborted my baby or given her up for abortion. If I had known my husband would be so awful at taking care of her, I would have never had her at all. Can't exactly turn back that clock. Some of you guys need a lesson in empathy. I do not want this to continue. Edit 2, shelter won't have space for us until Monday. Literally asking old coworkers and 3 friends I have left if they can loan me money to get a hotel room for the weekend. I have a to-do list for Monday with social services and calling lawyers and seeing whatever the hell else can be done next week. This sucks. I feel horrible for my daughter and keep going from crying to being angry and full of rage again. My daughter deserves better, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure this never happens again to either of us. Thank God I have an IUD and he can't knock me up again. I feel both hopeless and just wanting to escape again. Here's hoping I have some success and can update y'all on Monday over everything. Edit 3, to clarify, I'm not having sex with my husband. I got the IUD to have a more permanent birth control since he was pressuring me to have sex before I was ready, even before the 6-week mark. I do not want to end up with another kid / Irish twins because of his refusal to wear condoms. I'm going to call lawyers on Monday to talk about divorce. I don't want to be with him any longer, and I want better for myself and my daughter. I didn't expect this post to blow up with over 500 messages in my inbox, but you guys, I'm trying. I'm trying my best to get away from him and keep him out of our lives for good. Before we dive into the updates, when was this post originally made? 2 days ago. We might need, I don't know. Before we get into the update, I'm going to spend a second reading the comments here. Frankie, I want to give OP a hug and a bunch of supplies. CJ's thoughts, I'm proud of her. You do what you have to. Angel, yeah, what kind of shit grandmother defends that shit? Who knows? It's got to be so minimized to her. I mean, she made this piece of scum, so I don't know. Maybe she is that evil as well. But it has to be so minimized to her that she's not understanding how neglected this infant actually is. You can't not feed an infant. You can't not change an infant's diaper. They are so volatile. They are so fragile as new babies that all of those things can be life-threatening. Any of those things. And he's doing them all with no regrets whatsoever. It's just like, oh, she's annoying, basically. She just cries when I hold her. I haven't given her a bottle today. This is just evil. That's all there is to it. And OP being in the position where she was financially abused and got the bait and switch from him too, that he was going to support her and then forced her to pay her share of the bills still. This is so controlling, but to what end? I do not understand his motives here at all. I don't understand. He doesn't enjoy being home with the baby. So what benefit does he gain from forcing her to work and him staying home? I do not understand the benefit. What does he win here? Just control and making everyone suffer? Is that a gain for this sick? This was a pivot though. Apparently he wasn't like this before. So what this is what we mean by sometimes it's not easy to get out of a shitty situation. She had $6 to her name. He made sure of that. He made it as hard as possible for her. He trapped her. All right, let's dive into the update. Hi guys, I'm back with a small update. First things first, I ended up taking my baby girl to the hospital last night. After my soon-to-be ex-husband left to go drink or do whatever, I waited until he was gone and packed a small bag with all of our important information and went to the emergency room since my daughter's pediatrician is closed until Monday. She was looked over and they kept her overnight for observation after I told them everything. She had a rash. They tested for a UTI, and I expressed my concerns over her having shaken baby syndrome, which wasn't something that even crossed my mind until a lot of people mentioned it in my first comments. The emergency room doctor said she was alert and bright and very unhappy with the IV. She cried so hard when they stuck her with the needle, so they wanted to observe her first before putting her through a CT scan. She was dehydrated, so they had to have an IV put in. I think I got maybe 4 hours of sleep throughout the whole ordeal. She's a happy, smiley, drooly little baby, and my heart breaks for what she had to deal with at the hands of her father. I will have to have a CPS case opened against me and her father for his neglect. I'm going to cooperate with them so it helps me gain as much physical and legal custody. I don't feel confident that when we divorce and he is granted some type of custody, this won't happen again. Since I called out both of my weekend shifts and Monday shift to go to social services, best believe I am applying for everything, SNAP, WIC, TANF, medical insurance, etc. I don't think I will have a job at Cracker Barrel much longer, but I literally took that job just to have a job. A couple of people messaged me with remote jobs that I might be able to get with my degree. Once we're settled in a shelter, I'm also hoping they will be able to help me find a decent job, hire an attorney that won't cost $5,000 for me to divorce my husband, and help me set up child support payments. He can all the way off into the sunset for all I care, but I didn't knock myself up by myself. So many of you were kind, offering me places to crash and support. I'm so thankful and cried a lot. A lot of you have been in my situation and gave me words of hope when I was feeling really, really down and dumb over my choices. I have a hotel room for the next 2 nights thanks to awesome people in this sub. We are going to a shelter on Monday where we can start rebuilding pieces of our lives, and honestly, I wouldn't shed a tear if my soon-to-be ex decides to just give up his parental rights, and I would not be surprised by him doing that. I've practically been a single parent for the past 9 weeks. What's another 18 years of doing it by myself? I literally left with the clothes on my back and a bag for us both to share, so the thought of just starting from scratch is terrifying, but I know that's what I have to do. A lot of people were worried about us and our safety, but we are safe. We are okay. For the most part, I still go back and forth from sadness to rage to feeling down and being angry at my 17-year-old self for thinking an older man would take care of me, and it turned out to be a bunch of lies. I have blocked my mother-in-law and soon-to-be ex, and I'm genuinely thinking of changing my phone number to cut off all communication with them both unless I'm ordered by a court or something. I just want to wash my hands clean of him and pretend he doesn't exist. I can never trust him or his mom, really, again with my daughter. As someone who didn't grow up with a father, and it made my mom hate me because I looked like him. I have a very clear memory of her throwing a pot of water at me because I made a face that looked like my dad's. Part of me hurts for my daughter because I sure picked a shitty sperm donor for her, but she deserves so much better than him. I will post again on Monday for everyone once we are safe in a shelter. Top comment in here is, hey, former domestic violence advocate here. Can you file an emergency protective order? Also, if he was the main income, your divorce lawyer's fees can be put on him. Reach out to your local legal aid or do a free consult with a lawyer. You made some really hard choices. I hope you feel proud of protecting yourself and your baby. Leaving is the hardest/scariest part, but there is a beautiful, happier, safe life waiting for both of you on the other side of this. Hold your ground. You got this. And that's where we're at right now. This is really just in the past couple of days. So let's collectively send out all of the positive, healing, safe vibes that we can to OP and her baby here, and let her know that she's got a village of people who love her even though they don't know her here. This is absolutely bonkers. I let me check this real quick. Sorry. Okay, yeah. So good point by Candy Thunder here. A lot of talk in chat about people asking to donate or set up a GoFundMe. The awareness part of this story that we really want to hit on is absolutely, if you want to support this specific person, find the post, and other people were able to support her that way, so I think you'd be able to as well. It was Am I the Astronaut, AITAH, for losing it on my husband for not taking care of our newborn the whole time I was at work. That is the title of the story. But the awareness part of this for us is that this is happening all around us. Like we're hearing this one specific story, and yes, we want to help support this one specific person, but this is happening everywhere all the time. So we highly encourage you, if you want to donate to this kind of cause, to donate to your local shelters, because this is happening all around you. In every community, this is happening. This is happening everywhere. And there are the local resources that help people in these situations. They need support. So highly encourage you to look at that and to support in that direction. Of course, yeah, go hunt on OP's thread. People have found ways to help support. We're gonna hunt that down as well ourselves. But if you want to support the specific OP, go to the thread, find it that way. The larger message that we want to hammer home is that this is going on everywhere, all around us, all the time, and there are shelters. But like OP ran into here, they didn't have room immediately. What if they did? What if she was able to bounce out of there sooner? And luckily she made the hard choice, and luckily there is a way, however difficult that path may be, to escape even when you have $6 to your name and have to grab one bag to share them between you, and you're starting over, like completely starting over. At least there is a way to make that happen. But getting to the point where she was able to even step outside the door and go took a lot. Not just logistically, mentally, emotionally. It took a lot to get to that point. But she was finally able to do it because she was able to do it making the decision for her daughter. And we talk about that a lot too. It's a lot easier to make a riskier move, a bolder move, when you're doing it in the defense of someone else rather than for yourself. But this shit is happening everywhere all the time. And it's heartbreaking for everyone involved. Well, not the abusive sons of bitches, the abusive people. I know there's some guys that get into that situation as well, but I do not understand. I still do not understand what his motive is, what his gain is. I don't understand what he's winning by doing this. I do not understand. Someone who has enough knowledge about these kind of situations, what is his end game? What is his goal? Is it just control and inflicting pain on other people? Or what is he trying to accomplish by doing this? I do not understand.